All right, let's see if that works. Because it should be working now, because now the text is right side up. Now, is that working correctly? Because the text is now right side up for me instead of sideways. Okay. I don't know why it kept locking into rotating, regardless of what I set it on. And also, I saw what you said, default. And Novelli is good. I think last talked to her probably like a couple of months ago. All right, so you're vertically oriented. That's good. And thank you for the bits, by the way. The good news is we hadn't hit the beach yet, so you didn't really miss anything. That was just a background walk. We have about a mile to go up this way. Which will put us at the beach, but there's a little bit of background walking I want to do before hitting the beach. And I saw somebody say something about having a speaker. I actually did. I did consider seeing about doing some kind of TTS setup like Dreaming has, so you can basically do text to speech so I can hear what's being said. But that sounds too much like streamer shit to me. And besides, I'm just testing out this new edition of this Rode mic and seeing how that works. So admittedly, being able to hear what's being said would be a lot more useful. But I wanted to see how the sound was in this compared to when I was walking around London. In London, I had on a pair of my wired earbuds that I got. Did I get those in London? I think I might have got those the first time I was in London. Because I lost my my stuff then after going to pick up with Holly, or pick up Holly. Oh, okay, Culver City. Oh, Culver City is one of the parts I kind of saw the first time around. So, I guess a good explanation would be, a good place to start explaining would be the size of LA. What most people regard as LA is actually LA County, which is fucking massive. I am in Venice. LA is 40 minutes that way. "40 minutes at best, honestly. So think about it, kind of like the sprawl of London or Paris. The only problem is LA doesn't have near the public transportation viability of London or Paris. So it's big for no reason. Because I went to the Dodgers game 2 days ago. And I hopped on to work early and didn't really take a lunch break. I was just doing stuff so I could leave a bit early, and then if I had anything else to do, I'll finish up at the end of the day. But it was or rather my options were about a 45 minute Uber ride out, so I missed the first 2 innings. Or I could have taken LA County public transit, and it would have been a 2-hour journey. And I would have effectively missed the entire game. So, yeah. That's why I don't do LA Transit. I actually, for that reason, I liked Houston a lot more. Granted, I was only mostly around downtown Houston, but at least at the time it was reliable. I have heard it said that is not typical. So I suppose I shouldn't get used to that. And I really crossed it. I didn't want that guy to feel like he had a camera on his back the entire time. This is the furthest anyone has walked in America. Clearly default. You should see me when I travel more often. But I also don't take away from your point. And it is a little bit early, like I said, so not that you would see a whole bunch more people walking like I have. They'd either be on a bike or on a scooter. Or on one of the buses. I guess the buses are kind of broken into their city sectors as well. So that's part of why it would take 2 hours to get to the Dodgers game, because I would have to go like Venice, Culver City into I think LA, and then from LA I had to go to Echo Park, which another thing to keep in mind if you ever come to LA is there is, for as close as it is, there is a 10 to 12 degree temperature variant between like the beach and LA, because I mean, that's the other reason I brought like swim stuff was it said LA was going to be like 80 degrees. I was like, all right, bet. Then I'll go swimming, or I'll go in the water at least. And I was talking with Rachel, and I was like, I'm surprised it's like 63 to 69 this entire time, and kind of overcast. And she was like, you looked at the temperature for LA, didn't you? Not Venice. I was like, yeah. So that's a lesson learned. And I enjoyed the Dodgers game, but that shit was hot. Not like too hot, but it was hot enough that I was aware of it. And I was sitting in the sun the whole time, like basically, had the game gone another inning, I finally would have had like a shadow from the section above covering. Not that I necessarily wanted it to go another inning. Okay, here we are. This is what I wanted to walk up a little bit first. Seafood restaurant. So, as the sign said, these are the Venice canals, where I guess you can have yourself a boat that's, is that moored? I guess it is. It's very shallow. And it's also like a very nice little walk. Oh shit. Just hanging out, huh? So that would make more sense now why they named this part of the area Venice. It is very clearly modeled after Italy, at least as far as the canals and the footbridge is concerned, not necessarily the vegetation. wonder how much it costs to live here. Probably a crap ton. Morning.
Good morning.
I'll take that second footbridge over and go into the, or not, because it cuts over. Oh, I guess it's right there. I feel like this would be an enjoyable run, but I also tend to like people watching while I'm running. So while the very eclectic buildings would be dope, I probably couldn't run this more than maybe once a week if I wanted to do like a longer run. And they have a whole dock. I like that yellow orange's house. Well, General Motors, they're gonna have to deal. And who are they gonna arrest me with? They're firing their own people. Damn, that thing has so much bird shit on it. Oh, bro, there's another freaking. Well, Venice is nice. It does suffer, especially with the limited public transportation. And that's the other thing I was going to mention about the Dodgers game. So the Uber app, the ticket was $75, $80, which for a 100 section is pretty solid. The Uber I took out there was 40, so like a little much, but all right. It is what it is. I get it. The Uber I took back because I was sitting in the sun for 3 hours. I look at English flag. That's fucking $80. Like, bro, how you gonna it wasn't even an Uber, it was a yellow taxi masquerading as an Uber, which is probably why it was so expensive. I was like, bro, how you gonna charge me more than the game to get home from the game? I'll say the dope thing about Venice is you have a lot of these little like, somebody put a GMAT thing in there. You have a lot of these dope little pathways, like behind houses and whatnot. So that's actually pretty cool. I am definitely working up an appetite though. Oh, somebody getting some AC in here. And I guess there's nothing like any kind of HOA to force you to have a certain look to your home, which is depending on your perspective, can be a not great thing.
Henry, come on, dude.
But I like how eclectic it all looks. Hi, good morning.
Come on, then.
So this is Venice Beach. And we just came out at like the north end of the residential part as it goes probably a mile south or heading north right now. But as nice as it is, it also has that separation issue in that if you're in this area, I feel like you don't really go to LA much and vice versa. Because that girl I met in LA, or rather in Rotterdam, lives in LA, and when I told her I was in Venice, she was like, ew, Venice. And so I don't know if that's an LA thing or a distance thing. But if an Uber out costs $40 or something like that, and then one back costs about the same, I see why you wouldn't really go between, because spending $100 a night, you just want to go out, is like, that ain't it at all. All right, so you can't see it yet, but from here, it's about a 2.5 mile walk north. Oh, a little less actually, I guess, up to the Santa Monica Pier. And I know this because I ran from this point the other day. And you see that guy that walked past a minute ago that had the wetsuit? That's why I'm not going in the water. So that's actually not a wrong default. I would say of the ones I've seen, Toronto is very walkable. Toronto Stadium is like right south of downtown. So that one is like, okay, that's hella walkable. I'm surprised they don't have any games in Chicago for that reason. LA is at SoFi, which if you're in that area, then yeah, it's perfectly fine. But if you're not in that area, then you have to take an Uber. Dallas is definitely not walkable. Houston is walkable depending on where you are. If you're near NRG Stadium, Houston is walkable. I was staying in downtown and I'm going to stay in downtown. So, but there's the Red Line tram goes straight there. So I was like, all right, that's perfect. That's right next to my hotel. So it is highly dependent on where you are. New York and Boston are accessible, but they also had the issue of price gouging. Oh yeah, and this is the new Muscle Beach. So I'll say it is very, very dependent on where you are. And that's also why, at least when like Teddy and Ant were talking about coming over, that's partially why I told them, hey, like, just stay in the New York, Boston, Toronto, Philly area. I've only ever passed through Philly. Well, at least New York and Boston, they have good public transportation. So, like, you don't need a car for New York to get anywhere over there. And also the temperature being a thing, because like I said, Houston is going to be hella sweaty. So far wasn't actually that bad. So far was actually pretty comfortable. So I would say it's highly dependent on where you are. So the first time I came out here, going through here, this is where like the street performers were. And oh damn, they got the Kyrie thing. And this is where the street performers were when I came out this way in April 10 years ago. and they had like tents set up and whatnot. I guess I don't know if they pushed them off for like the cup. And maybe in the background, way back there, you can faintly see the Ferris wheel. I don't know, did you see the Scots doing the I don't even know, like the Norwegian celebration, I guess, where they're mimicking rowing like they're on the Viking ship? I was actually out with Viceroy for a bit last night, and I was saying that's what I like about the Cup is like people that generally may never interact are able to do so under like that shared interest. And in much larger numbers. So I saw somebody saying like a sports ball thing, which I'm always kind of am when people say that. But no, there was a Scots and the Norwegians doing that shared celebration. There was, this was in Dallas actually, I guess, at the Japan-Netherlands game, like a Japanese dude I think he was in a Japanese flag, he might have been in a Dutch flag, was crowd surfing in a bunch of Dutch people. I sent a few people that video of the German lady. This is in Houston, presumably after they won their game, like out dancing at a club in Houston, and people are like unsure what to make of it. Walk up the bike path a bit. They had a whole bunch of stuff here the other day. They had like surf schools, beach volleyball camps, all kind of stuff going on. That was like, not even that late in the day, that was like 10 o'clock or so. So yeah, it's relatively quiet right now because generally speaking, if you're a tourist, you're not out at 8 a.m. for any reason, really. But I wonder if you can make out I think you can just make out the Ferris wheel in the back. All right, that's better than in the hill. No, it's been an interesting Cup so far. And the New Zealand-Iran game was great. Loved the atmosphere of that game. definitely gonna have to hoof it along the straight path, because and I gotta check out in about 3 hours. What was the Aussie chant? I hadn't even seen anything about what the Aussie chant was, or the English chant, come to that. So what were they? I mean, hey, it is what it is. Huh. It is what it is. Points for ingenuity and for making it rhyme. And if you don't want to be part of a rhyme, maybe you should keep your hands to yourself. That's all that really is. Sounds like it's actually about to storm, instead of just being overcast. Also, what's going on, Rice? Huh, that's cool. Yeah, so the I believe that we will win thing that's from Brazil 2014. Like the people that went down to Copacabana. Like, that was the first time I remember hearing about that chant. I don't know what other chants I've heard of besides that one. Yeah, I like, as far as creativity goes, like, a lot of countries just have better creativity with their chants, and I would even say from like from a pure sports perspective, like we don't have, with a lot of our teams, we don't have like any kind of like fight chant or fight song. And really the majority of our professional sports, oh, that's a whole like arcade of shops. Yeah, I do feel like that's partly why I said like the atmosphere with the Cup games is going to be so good because you have like people that are not only traveling that far, but they like know these chants. Hold on, I got a rock in my shoe. It's been bothering me for a minute. Oh, that's better. But no, we don't have any good chants, honestly. It's just, yeah, your standard, like defense. Now, I believe that we will win thing. That's it, honestly. We got to step up our professional sports culture.